Do you know what is common between you and me? We both are human. But what does it really mean to be a human? What makes us human? It's not a strength for sure, because animals are stronger than us. A tiger, an elephant, even an ant in their own ways are far stronger. It's not even our intelligence, because even AI can calculate faster. Computers remember more. Some animals solve problems too. So, intellect alone is also not humanity. Then, what truly makes us human? The power to choose. Beyond that, the consciousness of choice. Animal choose but act by instinct. Human choose with awareness. We pause, we question, we doubt, we reflect. And in that moment of reflection, we become human. Slowly, we realize something uncomfortable. Our choices are not always us. Family expectations, social rules, traditions, fear of judgment. These invisible forces quietly begin to decide for us. Then a silent battle begins. The heart whispers, society commands. The heart seeks truth, society deems order. The heart dreams of freedom, but society tightens control. Every one of us has felt this conflict. That fragile moment when we know what we wanted, but we were told what we should want. So, what happens when a human heart chooses but society decides? This is not just a question, it's the life of Amba, the Princess of Kashi, a woman whose choice was stolen, whose voice was silenced, and whose will transcended even death itself. In the ancient kingdom of Kashi, a grand Swayamvara was announced. Kings arrived, warriors gathered, destinies waited. But in the heart of the palace stood a young woman with a quiet choice of her own. Her name was Amba, and her heart already belonged to King Shalva. This was not a political alliance, not a royal strategy, it was something rare love. A simple human wish to choose her own life. But destiny had other plans. Bhishma arrived, a warrior bound by vows, a man driven by duty, a force of royal command. In a single moment, the voices of three women were silenced. Without consent, without choice, Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika were carried away, not as brides but as decisions. Amba spoke. Her voice did not carry anger, only truth. She told Bhishma, my heart has already chosen. I belong to King Shalva. Bhishma listened, and for a moment, duty stepped aside for justice. He released her. Hamba ran back to Shalva, not as a princess, not as a prize, but as a woman returning to her chosen love. Her heart was full of hope, but the doors of acceptance did not open. Shalva refused her, not because he stopped loving her, but because society had already judged her. In one moment, Amba lost everything her choice, her love, her place in the world. When nowhere else to go, she returned to Bhishma. You took my life away, she said. Now take the responsibility of it. Marry me. Bhishma could not. His woe stood stronger than her suffering. Rejected by the man who took her, rejected by the man she loved, rejected by the world she trusted, Amba stood alone. Amba did not give up. When no king helped her, she went to Parashurama. She told him everything. Parashurama felt her pain. First, he tried talking to Bhishma. He sent a message, not because he was cruel, but because of his hope. Bhishma said, I cannot break my promise. Then Parashurama said, if words cannot bring justice, then I will fight for it. They fought for 23 days, teacher and a student, two of the greatest warriors the world have never seen. The earth shook, but no one won. Amba understood something painful. Even the strongest warrior could not change her fate. The world would not save her. She would have to become her own justice. Amba walked away from the world. She went into the forest alone with one fire inside her, the fire of injustice. She took under the She stood under the burning sun. She sat in the freezing rain. She ate almost nothing. Day after day, month after the month, she prayed, not for comfort, but for happiness, but for justice. At last, Lord Shiva appeared before her. He asked gently, "What do you seek, Amba?" She replied, "I want the power to end the man who destroyed my life." Shiva looked into her suffering and he granted her a boon. "In your next life, you will be the cause of Bhishma's fall." Amba bowed. She did not wait for time. She walked into fire. She gave up her body and she was reborn, not as a helpless woman, but as a warrior, Shigandi. Pain had turned into purpose, and purpose was about to rewrite history. Then the war of Kurukshetra began. Bhishma stood at the front, unstoppable. Day after day, the Pandava army collapsed before him. No one could defeat him. Finally, the Pandavas did something impossible. They went to Bhishma itself. They bowed. "How can we defeat you?" Bhishma answered honestly, "I will never fight someone born as a woman. Place such a warrior before me, and I will lower my weapons." The next day, Shiganti stepped forward, and in that moment, Bhishma saw Amba. He lowered his bow. He stopped fighting. Arjuna stood behind Shiganti and released his arrows. Thousands of arrows covered Bhishma's body. The greatest warrior finally fell, resting on a bed of arrows. Amba's promise was completed, not by strength, not by revenge, but by destiny. Her story ended, but her message had just begun. The right to choose is not luxury, it's a human need, because when we take away someone's choice, we don't just control their future, we take away their dignity. To choose to steal choice is to steal identity. To decide for someone is to erase who they are. Today, Amba lives among us in forced marriages, in students pressured into careers they never choose, in people who trapped inside identities they could not create. So, what is the answer? We must learn to listen before we decide, to guide, not control, to support, not force, because real freedom begins where choice is respected. We are not taught that silence is strength, that enduring quietly is maturity, that suffering without complaint is courage. But Amba teaches us something deeper. Silence does not heal pain, silence multiplies it. Because endurance without expression becomes suffering, and expression becomes change. Today, Amba speaks through survivors who break their silence, whistleblowers who expose injustice, people who talk openly about mental health, women who finally raise their voices. The world does not change when we stay quiet. It changes when we speak, when we name injustice, when we refuse to pretend everything is fine. Speaking is not rebellion, it is self respect. Your voice is your power. Pain is something we all try to escape. But what if pain is not meant to break us? What if it is meant to reshape us? Amba teaches us this. Suffering does not destroy us, it can rebuild us. Her trauma did not make her bitter, it made her clear. Her pain did not weaken her, it gave her direction. Today, we see this everywhere. Survivors become activists, failures become innovators, loss becomes leadership. When pain arises, we have two choices: to collapse or to rise differently. To ask, why me? But who can I become because of this? Your wound can become your wisdom. Turn your pain into your power. When we think of strength, we imagine muscles, weapons, and power. But Amba shows us a deeper truth. Real strength is inner strength, strength of mind, strength of emotions, strength of spirit. Amba defeated the greatest warrior of her time without lifting a weapon, not through force, but through clarity, patience, and destiny. Today, true strength looks like resilience in failure, emotional intelligence in conflict, strategic thinking in chaos. mental calm in pressure. The hardest battles are not outside us, they are inside. Fear, doubt, pressure, expectations. And when we win there, we win everything because the strongest battles are won inside. If Amba were alive today, she would have not asked for permission. She would have not waited for approval. She would not accept injustice. She would question systems. She would challenge silence. She would rewrite destiny. Amba reminds us you don't need power to create change, you need courage to refuse injustice. Thank you.